Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend, and we'll get you started on a great week to come. So, as usual, this is a time that if you have any questions, concerns, problems, things going well, things going poorly, let's talk about them now. Everybody can share from everybody else's experience. So, either type it in, or if you're on a headset or a phone, raise your hand, and we'll get you opened up, and we'll talk about it with everybody. Otherwise, I will look for those questions as they come in, but I'll go ahead and get started. First thing I want to do is Pam Rosenberry on the back. She's my hero of the week. She took the trip and she presented it to her town hall meeting. She does a great job, and is, I think, almost for 2 years now, been doing breakfast clubs, which is kind of a town hall meeting she does in the morning once a month. And she presented it to that group, and they were excited about it and asked her to do it again so they could bring friends to see it. So, and then she went and presented it to her accountant, and she set it up to present it to a broker that she does business with on a regular basis because he doesn't sell insurance. So congrats to Pam Rosenberry. That's somebody who's taken the bull by the horns and actually out there making contacts. And as we've talked about several times before, lucky people make their own luck, and how you make your own luck is the more contacts you have, the luckier you're going to get. So great job, Pam. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Pointer of the week. A recent credit card study basically went to all of its delinquent customers. So there were 7,000 customers that were delinquent, and obviously they didn't want those customers to be delinquent, and they wanted them to be good customers going ahead, so they offered them all online financial literacy courses. So we want to guess, out of the 7,000 people they offered this online financial literacy course, how many took them up on it? How many actually even clicked to open it up? Want to guess? Let's get some. 5, Dale. That's a darn good guess, Dale. 28 logged on, but only 3 completed the course. So 7,000 delinquent customers. All these people need help. They were all offered information, online financial literacy course for free. 28 logged on, 3 completed the course. Good job, Dale. So what's the lesson we could take from that? Does information change what people are going to do, guys? Does information change what people are going to do? Can we prove to them why? Exactly right, Jeff. Can we prove to them why they need to do something? Can we? Well, and this is also a great. This is also a great lesson for marketing. What do everybody do for marketing? What do they? But people buy emotionally and justify numerically. Exactly right, Eric. So what are most people doing for marketing, especially for seminars? What are most people's seminars about? What are most people's seminars are about? Let's go back and look at this again. 7,000 customers are offered free education, Jeff. Exactly. Education, Steve. Financial literacy, Eric. That's exactly right. So 7,000 customers were offered free online literacy course, and only 28 logged on and 3% of the course. So the lesson is, when we offer seminars and we're going to have them learn something, guess how many want to do that? And you've seen the numbers that I've shown you before, where people, or retired people, spend an average of 1.3 minutes a day learning. And you know that's completely weighted because some people love to learn. So that person is going to spend hours a day learning, which means hundreds of other people are not going to spend any time learning. So trying to get at people by teaching them something is not going to work except for a very small group of people. So what does work? What gets people to change? Beliefs. So how does 5Q leverage that? How do we get people to change beliefs? Give me an example of how we get people to change beliefs. Instead of throwing information at them, for example, in the disclosure meeting, are we just giving them a bunch of information? Are we trying to prove to them that they're doing the wrong thing? Are we trying to prove to them that their investments are wrong? Are we trying to show them that their beneficiaries are wrong? Are we trying to show them their titling is wrong? Is that what we're doing, guys? Are we trying to prove that all those things are wrong? Are we just giving them information? No, exactly, Fred. What are we trying to do? We're changing a belief. What's the belief we're changing? Not that they're investing. Have them tell us what's missing? Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Absolutely. But that's not a belief. So having them tell us what's missing, is that changing any beliefs? What's the belief we have them changing? Their advisor isn't doing right by them, Eric Miller. Exactly. Their advisor isn't doing right by them. And more than that, when you say their advisor isn't doing right by them, I think you've hit it on the head. But just to be more blunt, their advisor is, well, I guess you are saying the advisor isn't doing right by them, or their advisor is taking advantage of them. Because when they come into our office, they think their advisor is great. Because if they didn't think their advisor was great, they would have left him a long time ago. So we have to change their belief in their advisor, and that's what we're doing. We're not trying to give them a bunch of information so they can figure out what they're doing is wrong. We have to get them looking at their advisor as he is doing them wrong. Does that make sense? So you have to change people's beliefs. You can't give them information. Okay? So what we're going to talk about today is networking, and I was just talking about that a little bit with Pam. There have been many studies done on luck in both the United States and the United Kingdom, UK. And all of them have found out that people are not born lucky. People are not born unlucky. In fact, they've shown that you can increase somebody's luck by giving them a luck class. They increase people's luck by 80% when they had them attend these luck classes. And we're looking at the number one characteristic of lucky people. Anybody want to guess, and I've talked about this many times. We'll see how much you've been listening. What's the number one characteristic of lucky people, guys? What's the number one characteristic of lucky people? And so I'll give you a little an analogy that maybe will help you. Let's say two guys lost their job. Look for opportunities. Eric, you're right. Look for opportunities. Meet and know lots of people. Fred, you're exactly right. Meet and know lots of people. Look for opportunities, which all those things are right, but the having the most contacts is how you get lucky. Think about it. You know, the guy who happens to get free tickets to the Sweet 16 from a buddy, guess why he got, and people, if somebody got tickets to the Sweet 16, you'd say that guy is what? Lucky. But I guarantee you, if somebody got tickets to the Sweet 16, guess how many people he knows compared to you or I? See, the more people you know, the luckier you get. The more those types of things happen to you. So networking is a fantastic way to do that, because with networking, not only do we have lots of connections, we have lots of connections with what kind of people when we network. So there's only one way to get luckier than somebody that has a lot of connections. It's to make sure those connections are with who? With who, guys? Who do you want to network with in your town? The movers and the shakers, don't you? So there's only one way. Well-connected people, Jeff, right. So there's only one way to get even luckier than somebody having lots of contacts, is to make sure your lots of contacts are with people that are well-connected, or influencers. Exactly right. Now, looking at lots of studies that have been done recently, the affluent are more or less trusting, do you think, than they used to be? Do you think the affluent are more or less trusting than they used to be? I think we all know the answer to that question, which is what? They're less trusting than they used to be. So how do you develop trust? How do you develop trust? There's two ways. You unlock the trust component by reputation and by what? Reputation is more for people who don't know you, but which is fine, because not everybody's going to know you. So you want a very, very high reputation, and then you also want people to get to know you. People trust people they know. People trust their friends. And more now, the wealthier people are, you think the more they want that person they work with to be their friends, or the less they want that person they work with to be their friend? It used to be people didn't want to work with their friends because they didn't want their friends to know their personal business. Guess what's happened in the last 10 years? Do you think people want to work with people they know and are their friends, or don't want to work with people who are their friends, especially the wealthy? Well, I'm talking wealthy. I'm talking not about the ultra-wealthy. I'm talking anyone with $1 million of assets all the way up to the ultra-wealthy. Who do they want to work with, their friends or not with their friends? They want to keep their stuff to themselves, or they want to be working with somebody they know? Yep, Jeff, you're right, friends. They want to work with their friends. So we need to make as many friends as possible if we want to work with those big guys, with the guys that are mover and shakers in our town. So there's 3 rules to community marketing. First, don't join a group just to be part of the group. Join a group that you're passionate about. Because if all you do is join just to be around the right people, they're going to see through that. So join the Lions, join the Knights of Columbus, join the Rotary Club, but find out which one of the, because all of those groups have, for example, here in town, the Rotary Club is big into high school hockey, tournaments and high school basketball tournaments so they can raise a lot of money and give it to their charity. So if you love sports, high school basketball and hockey, that would be a great group to get involved with because you could get passionate about that. Say that you maybe the group gives a lot of their money to the blind, and you have a passion about that, or maybe so. Find out what they're doing and get and join the things that you're passionate about. Just don't join for the sake of joining. Select a group with members you'd want to duplicate as clients. For example, in the Rotary Club, I think we have, even in a small town of 100,000, I think we have 3 different Rotary Clubs in Rochester. And one of them is very, very young. The people in there are very, very young. Another group is like right in the middle. Another group is older folks. So join the group that you'd want to duplicate as your clients, okay? And then once you join, don't just show up for the meetings. Get involved in the leadership. Make sure everybody in that group knows who you are. Volunteer to run things because that's what's going to get people to say, that's the kind of guy I want to work with, okay? So join a group you're passionate about. Select a group with members that you'd want to duplicate as clients. And then don't just sit there like a bump on the log. That's a waste of time, effort, and money if you're doing it that way. Once you're in, become a leader of that group. Any questions on that? So, 7 ways to shine at networking events. Because, I mean, most of these groups have networking events, right? And you should be involved with your Chamber of Commerce. And there's lots of ways that you can actually utilize that Chamber of Commerce. One of them is these networking events. Because everybody you want to work with, the movers and shakers in your community, belong to the Chamber of Commerce. You need to belong to it. And again, Missy and I went back and forth about whether we should belong to the Chamber of Commerce. But I'll tell you what, when we were working with clients, we belonged. When we were working in our community, we did belong to the Chamber of Commerce. When we started working with guys nationally, we didn't belong to the Chamber of Commerce because we didn't work with anybody in our local town. But when you're working with people in your town, you got to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce if you want to land the whales, okay? So the first rule about these networking events that you can go to, and you should go to these networking events, is you need a wingman. And what I mean by that is you need a person that can introduce you and pump you up. So, for example, as you're meeting somebody, your wingman would say, hey, this is Mike, and you know what? He's done a fantastic job of working with some of my clients. So maybe it's an accountant. And he goes, he's done a fantastic job of working with some of my clients, and he's used this, and then maybe you give them your 5Q statement so that they can get something that the person you're talking to would say, really, how does he do that? Or it would get the conversation going. And then what you're going to do for that accountant is go back, well, I mean, that's very kind of you to say, but you know, without finding clients that have great accountants like you who actually catch all the little changes in the tax code, I'm not even able to do the things that I mean. So what you're doing is you're walking billboards for each other. Because when you say how great you are, people discount it. When your buddy says that you're great, that's third party. That's a consensus that you're a good guy. So you should go around with a wingman. Also, it's a lot less intimidating, or it's a lot less awkward to have that guy that you can, or gal that you can go around with a wingman. Does that make sense? And look sharp, guys. Shine your shoes. Go wearing a good suit or crisp shirt, crisp pants. I know this goes without saying, but especially with the shoes, you need to spend $100 or more on a pair of shoes, especially when you're going to events like these. People judge you on how you look. I know it's not fair. I know it's not right. I know how you dress has nothing to do with how successful or how smart you are, but people judge you based on that. So make sure that you're looking good. Your hair is cut, you're groomed properly, and you have a decent clothes on, and you're wearing a good pair of shoes that are shined, okay? I know I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm saying it because I've been to too many of these things where you shake your head and saying, boy, that person's telegraphing anything but success, okay? Have your name tag, and make sure your name is big, and if it's possible, do something unusual on that name tag to make sure they remember you. I know I met one guy, and actually we bought our last car from him, and he actually drew a little cow in his signature. So he signed his name, and he had a cow, and I forget what his name was. I think his name was I don't know, Lowenstein or something, or what. So he was basically making a joke about a type of cow, which was, I don't know, isn't there a cow named Shoes Are the Key, somebody's saying. Yeah.
Holstein.
Thank you. Holstein. So he's making a joke about that. But you know what? Even now, 7 years later, I remember that guy and the fact that he signed his name with a cow. So that's a huge advantage if people remember you for that. Yeah, Eric says, thank God for Missy. Exactly, especially about cows. She's from cow country. Not really. There's no cows up where you grew up.
Did you just call me a cow?
No, I said it's cow country.
And yes, I did grow up in cow country because there are a lot of cows where I grew up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Fred's saying shoes are the key. People will spend more on a tie, but shoes are the dead giveaway. Exactly right, Fred. I agree. So with your name, do something clever. Do something, write it and bring out your own marker. Write it in purple. Write it in pink. Do something that gets them to remember you. Because remember, how hard is it to remember people's names? How hard is it to remember all the people who meet at these events? So do something that makes you stand out from everybody else out there. Does that make sense? And another way to do that, as I was saying, with the signature, hey, let's see who can guess this signature. This is a very famous signature. What signature is this, guys? He was just in the news here about 2 months ago. First of all, can you the treasurer, exactly. It's Lou. Is it Lou? Jeff, you know, Jeff Freeberg. Lou who? So.
Jeff says he doesn't know.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know who the treasurer is.
There
Jacob
it is,
Blue.
Jacob Blue.
Tim Geithner?
No. Fred got it.
He's Secretary of the Treasury.
Yeah. So Fred got it. It's Jacob Blue. So can you recognize any letter in here? No, it's a bunch of what? Loops, loops, loops. But everybody that was paying attention to that story all will remember this signature forever. Now, how many other Treasury secretaries will I ever remember their signature? Why did this guy's signature get remembered? Because it was unusual. People remember my signature, too, because it's such a disaster. So have a signature that people remember. We're talking about Fred says shoes are a dead giveaway. Who knows who, what's the name of this guy on public radio? The Prairie Home Companion. Air Jordans. Prairie Home Companion. What the heck is the name of that guy? Garrison Keillor. Garrison Keillor. He wears red tennis. So he'll wear a nice suit, but he's always wearing red tennis shoes. That's his signature. So everybody always knows that if you see a pair of red tennis shoes in a suit, you know it's Garrison Keillor. So either wear a really nice pair of shoes or wear something that is your signature. Wear a tie that's your signature, so like this hot dog tie. Now, I don't recommend the hot dog tie, but wear something that will get people talking to you at these events. Again, the name tag we're talking about or anything else that you can get, again, to stand out from everybody else out there so they remember you. There's no sense going to these things to have people forget you. You want to go to these things to have people remember you, right? The next thing is have your 5Q elevator speech. So when people ask what you do, don't go into this long dissertation about boring stuff that you do. I help people with their IRAs and blah, blah, blah. Guys, they don't want to hear. Give them the 5Q elevator speech. You should have that memorized. If I talk to you on the phone, you should be able to just snap it right off at me. Because that's what's going to get people to say, really, how do you do that? And when they say, how do you do that, they've given you permission to sell them. But when you start going on and on about how smart you are, they don't want to hear that. You need to do something that's going to get them to say, how do you do that? And the 5Q elevator speech is the only way I know how to do that. Talk with everybody there. You're there to meet people, so make sure you're meeting people. Work that room. I know, again, it goes without saying, but work that room, meet everybody, and make sure they remember you. And then at the end, make sure that you, of all the business cards you collected, make sure a handwritten note goes out to each one of those the next day. You need to do, guys, Missy will validate this. I used to send out 200 handwritten notes a month. 200 handwritten notes a month. And I still send out tons of handwritten notes. The reason being is that when you do this, they think, how many handwritten notes do people get nowadays? You're probably the only person that sent them a handwritten note that year. People don't even handwrite in their Christmas cards anymore, do they? They print things and send them out to people. So a handwritten note is an extremely powerful thing. So make sure when you get done with the networking event that you send out a handwritten note to all the people. And any excuse you can have for finding for sending out a handwritten note is terrific. In fact, in this month's or next month's newsletter, the 3-point newsletter that I sent out, the marketing newsletter, I have up a article about this very thing, which is a great, if you want to go whale hunting, guys, do you hunt whales with nets? Is that how they hunt whales? How do they hunt whales, guys? With nets? How do they hunt whales? Harpoons, exactly, harpoons. So we're not going to throw out lots of nets to catch whales. We're going to harpoon them. And how we do that is you need to get your local paper. You need to subscribe to your local paper. Write it off. It's not that expensive. And then look for the movers and shakers in that paper. Look for the movers and shakers in that paper, and then send them. Now get some nice cardstock. It should not be from your business. It should be some high-quality things. If you like Frank Lloyd Wright, then you get some Frank Lloyd Wright cards on the front. There's some people that make handmade cards with flowers or with whatever on the front. Get some high-quality cards. High-quality cards, maybe $3 a piece, that are blank so they can't tell who you are. And then write these people a note. And don't identify who you are. Just say, wow, I think what you're doing on the city council is absolutely right. We need leaders like you at the city council. Mike. And then put my phone number. Mike Castleneck, put my phone number. That's it. Guess what? And a guy that has done this has landed huge, and he's not in our industry. He's actually a commercial real estate broker. But guess what? Guess how many people in town know who this guy is now? He said in 1 year, he went from knowing nobody in town, none of the movers and shakers in town. Within 1 year, he had basically was friends with 150 guys of the movers and shakers in town. How would you, guys, what would happen to your business if you were friends with 150 of the movers and shakers in your town? That's huge. And all he did was this very thing. He sent out, every day he'd send out a couple of handwritten notes to people in the paper, just complimenting them on what they're doing, and signing it with his phone number. And 50% of the time, he said 50% of the time, he'd get a phone call from these people. Is that worth 10 minutes of your time every day? I think it is, if you want to hunt whales. That's because how else are you going to get whales, guys? So please, put in some effort in those kind of things. 5Q networking tool. So again, we have ways for you to do this. We have the Golden Referral System. That's the system. Again, if you're a full-blown 5Q member, we have systems for you to do this. The 5Q Golden Referral System, again, kudos to Fred Sade, who just said, oh, yeah, this is a good idea, and did it, and boom, built up a case study group of, I don't remember, Fred, can you help me out? How many attorneys and how many CPAs do you have on your, Fred, on your case study? 3 plus 3. So he's got 3 attorneys, 3 CPAs on his case study group. So every month, or I think you're doing it more. I think you said you're doing it every month. Every month, because I think I recommend once a quarter, but he's doing it every month. He's getting in front of 3 attorneys, 3 CPAs, and he's the only advisor in the room. Guys, that's how you get huge referrals. So that's one of the systems. It goes right through that, and then also, we give you the attorney CPA newsletter that you can send out every single month on your letterhead. If you're not doing that, you are crazy. You're absolutely crazy, because that's the only way they're going to get to know you. Remember, the high net worth people or movers and shakers, they only trust you once they get to know you. And the newsletter we sent out is about who? Let's see if you guys have been paying attention. The newsletter we send to CPAs and attorneys that we give you to send out, who's that about? What's that about? Let's see if you've been paying attention. What's that newsletter about? Is it about what I do? Is it about how I help people? Is it about how I save people taxes? Is it about how I help people with their investments? Is it about any of that, guys? What's in that information for them? Yep. Nope. I'm getting. Yes, it's about information that they can use to look smarter with their clients. It's not about us looking smart. It's about giving them information to make their job easier, to make their job more profitable, make their job more efficient, to make them look smarter in front of their clients. That's how you build reputations. That's how you build trust. Now, besides the Golden Referral System, one thing that everybody should be doing, and it's not even a system, is this, is every time you bring on a client, what should go out the very next day? And we actually give you, again, the letter to do this, but you can create your own letter if you want. What goes out when you bring in a client the very next day? What should go out the very next day? Letters to your client's accountants and CPA. Right, Fred. Letters to their attorneys and their CPAs. And is it about how great I am? No, it's about how great they are. Say, listen, I just brought this client on, and I just want to compliment you. Looking at the work you've done for these people, it's fantastic. And it dovetails exactly into what I'm trying to do for them. So thank you for doing that. I just want to introduce myself, let you know that I'm here to help. If you need if there's any questions that need to be answered, if it's going to the accountant, you say, if there's tax basis you need, I'm only a phone call away. I'm here to make your job easier as their accountant or as their attorney. So we've already got that letter available to you. That should go out to every single client you have the day after they become a client, or better yet, that same day they sign the paperwork. Guess how many advisors take the time to do that? And I'll tell you, it works fantastically. Here's why. Your clients tend to come to you in clumps. I mean, one year, I think I brought on 15 clients from the same CPA. What happens when they get 15 letters that year? What do you think goes through a CPA's mind when they get 15 letters of clients coming on with you? What goes through your mind every time you drive through or drive down the street and you see a brand new restaurant is packed out? Every single time you drive by for a year. What goes through your mind? Maybe what? That's a restaurant I need to go to. It seems like everybody thinks this guy's great or this restaurant's great. Well, when this accountant gets 15 letters from clients moving to me, they think, whoa, this guy has it happening. Okay? That's huge. And how much did that cost me? Very, very little. We also have the system Toast of the Town. And this is about either joining it's about joining a group. So all the stuff I talk about with networking, I walked you through it step by step how to really leverage that experience of joining groups. Okay? And one of the ways that we leverage it is, for example, with the Chamber of Commerce, again, which is a fantastic way to meet all the movers and shakers of town. With the Chamber of Commerce, the number one problem, what do you think the number one problem the Chamber of Commerce have in each town? What do you think the number one problem Chambers of Commerce have in each town? The number one complaint, the number one question, the number one objection that they get? Let's see, somebody type that in. What do you think their number one, Chamber of Commerce, the number one objection they get? Nobody's guessing? Why should I join? Yeah, Glenn, and what's when they say why should I join, the question people have is why should I pay to join? Because if it was free, guess how many people would want to be a member? Everybody. But you have to pay. So they struggle to find ways to make it worthwhile. And one of the things they're looking for is value-added things. So one of the guys I worked with was in Denver, Colorado. I helped him approach the Chamber of Commerce, and what he did is he offered to present a class. It was a two-part class on how to grow businesses by seminars or by meetings. Because you're an expert at doing seminars. Guess what? Do you think the local CPA, local attorney, local car dealership, local chiropractor, local gym, local whatever, do you think they're experts at growing their business by seminars? They don't know the least bit how to do it. So it was to get in front of them to show them how to market via seminars. Now you're thinking, wait a minute. Why would I want to do that? That's not making any money. Well, first of all, do you think a Chamber of Commerce is going to let you go in there and talk about how great your investments are, etc.? No, because how many people just like you, how many advisors belong to the Chamber of Commerce? Lots of them. So they're not going to let somebody go in there and promote their business. So what you want to do is go in there and show them, do some classes for them on things that you're an expert at. And you are an expert at marketing, believe it or not. So show these other businesses or offer the Chamber of Commerce to do a class on marketing. Now, guess how many people came up to that guy afterwards and he formed, I think he ended up bringing on like 4 people as clients from that. Why? Because they wanted to be around a guy that knew what he was doing, that knew how to grow a business. That's why. So it had nothing to do, he brought on clients by doing something that had nothing to do with financial advising. So that kind of thing is talked about in the Toast of Town. Again, if you're a 5Q full member, you get that. But you can, if you're not a 5Q full member, you can kind of get an idea. It's not that complicated, right? It's just getting involved, making your own luck. And then the Halo system again for FIQ members, is about how to work within the faith-based community. Now, we don't want to be looking like we're money grubbers inside the faith-based community. Yet, there are guys that have made very good living off of working people just like them. Remember, we said join a group that you're passionate about. If you're passionate about your church, get involved. Get into leadership positions. Join the different subgroups they have. Be involved. Make sure everybody in the church knows who you are. And then I've got, basically in there how you leverage that. Because you don't want to be seen as, again, a money grubber at your local church. But there's ways to really leverage that. One way is people will always ask you, how's business? Well, don't just say good. If you say good, that's worthless. So if somebody asks you, how's business, you want to say it's fantastic. I mean, last week I worked with this couple, and we're able to get their taxes down on their investments to just 1.5% tax on their investment income. So you can imagine how happy they were. They referred me to 3 of their friends right away. So business is good when you got, when you can reduce people's investment income, taxes on their investment income to 1.5%, and they're referring you to 3 people. Business is really good. Now, what are they going to say to that? When I say that, guess what they're going to say? Well, how do you do that? Now, did I promote my business? Did I try to say, hey, they should work with me? Am I going to be seen as a bad person if I just answer that question that way? No. And again, people work with people they like, they trust, people that other people trust. So the Halo system walks you through how to really leverage your passion if you're passionate about your faith-based community. So these are all things that are available out there. Do you need to do all of them? No. But the more you do, the better. I mean, this one story I tell is about one of my longtime clients, Frank, in Wisconsin, and he came up to me, I don't know, about 3 or 4 years ago and said, and this guy does big business. I mean, he works half the year and travels the world with his family the rest of the year, and still is able to write $7-8 million working half time at 70-plus years old. And he said, Mike, here's the thing. None of your marketing works very well. And I was like, well, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that, Frank. He says, well, no. And then he kind of laughed because I was like, well, you're doing pretty good business. He says, well, just because doing 3 of your marketing, all working average, puts me in front of a ton of people. And that's what you need to do. I've got lots of marketing available. You don't need to do all of it, but do a bunch of it because you need to have more than one thing going on. So these things that we're talking about here, this is whale hunting. Toast of the Town, the Golden System, Halo System, the networking thing, that's whale hunting. Do you need to do all of them? Well, if you want to hunt whales, yeah, I would do all of them because all of them, none of them take a lot of time. But when it comes to any type of marketing, you need to be doing 2 or 3 things at least because you never know when one's going to fail. And even if one's going well, you need to fill in the holes with that one with other marketing. So I've got plenty of marketing out there. You don't need to do all of it, but you better be doing some of it because just working on referrals is not going to make you the kind of money that you want unless you're using these things with the 5Q elevator statement. So ask yourself right now, I want you all to take a minute here, and I want you all to say your 5Q elevator statement out loud. Okay, so if you weren't able to say your 5Q elevator statement out loud, what should you spend the rest of the day doing? Because you will never get a referral without a decent 5Q elevator statement. Networking is going to be really difficult without a 5Q elevator statement. Guys, it's the backbone to cost-free marketing. So make sure you have that 5Q elevator statement. If you don't have it, again, for those of your 5Q members, we gave you 5Q elevator statements you could use. Those are your TRIP members. We gave you TRIP 5Q statements you could use. Or if you need the 5Q guide on how to create your own, just email us at support@5qgroup.com, and we will mail that guide out where you can write up your own. But the 5Q elevator statement is the backbone to all cost-free marketing and whale hunting marketing. So I think that's all I have for today. Any questions, concerns, things you want to talk about? So guys, does this get your, go ahead, Missy.
I was just going to say, I just wanted to remind you all that we've got a group mentoring call. That's the open line mentoring call on Friday. at 11 o'clock Central. So we'll be sending you out a reminder the day before as well, but please do make every attempt to be on that call if you'd like.
So guys, that's where we will do it. So next Friday, that's when twice a month we do tape reviews, where we actually review a tape of one of our advisors with a client, and we walk through how it went well and how we could make it better. And on that call, we ask you to phone in, so because you are going to be, it's an interactive call. It's not me talking. It's me talking with you, going back and forth, role playing, asking questions, etc. So we ask you to be on the phone so we can have that interactive type of call instead of me just jabbering at you for a half hour or an hour. So was this helpful? Did this get the juices going on how to start to whale hunt? Dale, you can't do it that way. You need to email support@5qgroup.com if you want that. So we've got some people asking to mail them that. The guide on 5Q elevator speech, just send that request to support@5qgroup.com. That way it doesn't get missed. So guys, can you put some of this stuff into action? And guess how much this stuff costs? You're talking about $35, $40 a year for this kind of stuff. Okay, so it's not hugely expensive. It isn't even that hugely difficult. It just requires some focus and some dedication to do that. Okay, super. So again, appreciate all the work you guys are doing, and if you have questions, concerns, please let us know, and we will do our best to get those things worked out for you, and because we're here to serve. And thank you very much. And if we don't have any questions, I will let you go early today. We all set? I see no questions. Okay, super.
Looks good.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day and a good week.